was still talking about the drainage of Uganda. I said I'll talk more about that. Someone was asking, what about, you said mountains, most of them were formed by faulting and volcanicity. What about the water? Yeah, Uganda's water was formed by a number of processes. There are those lakes that were formed by volcanicity. We have lakes that were formed by warping. We have lakes that were formed by glaciers. We have all processes. I will talk more about that when I come to the drainage system of Africa. So that's all about the relief of Uganda. The relief of Uganda. Uganda, we have a lot of hills that have a lot of miracles on them. You find people praising God from there, and they are really thanking God for the kind and the nature of their country, because these hills appear so different. There is a hill I used to travel to with my grandmom. Those very, when I was still young, those early years, yeah. I remember it is around the villages called, I think it is Rakai district, yeah. There is a hill, they call it, is it Gorogotha? Gorogotha, I think. If you know it, you'll drop it in the comment section. And every time we could pass by, because my grandma's relatives used to live those ends, so we could pass by that hill. And when you pass by that hill, every time we could pass by, we could stop and gaze at the nature of the hill. The hill was so steep, it is not a mountain, but it is called Golgotha. Yeah, Golgotha or Bethlehem, something like that. I need to do more research about that hill. I forgot its name because I used to go there when I was still young. We could gaze at the mountain, and at night, the hill, it is covered with a number of rocks. And some of the people around the village, they always say that hill has stars. It shines at night, but there are rocks. And these rocks, they are formed of different minerals, thus giving them their glittering kind of appearance at night. So we could just stand onto the road and stare and gaze at this hill. The hill looked so beautiful. The rocks were shining at night. So that is the beauty of Uganda. That is the beauty of Uganda, covered under rocks, and these rocks are covered under several minerals. But unfortunately, we can't make use of these minerals. But Uganda is covered in minerals like iron, like diamonds, like iron ore, aluminium. Yeah, we have a lot of all of these minerals in Uganda. Uganda is a rich country. So after talking about the relief of Uganda, this draws me to the soils of Uganda. Someone was asking me, in Uganda, we live here. Someone asked me that question because he had traveled somewhere and saw that people were suffering with food, people were suffering with what to eat. But it was like, in Uganda, you can stay in Uganda, you don't have a job, but you don't work, but you eat, you don't skip meals. How? Because Uganda is a fertile land, everyone can grow food to eat. And Ugandan soils support the growth of foods and then the rearing of their animals. So Uganda, mainly they are farmers, so they rely more on natural foods and animal products. Reason being, the nature of the soils in Uganda is not found anywhere in the world. It is only found in Uganda. Uganda, the whole country, is covered under laterite soils. The types of soils in Uganda are called laterite soils. And these soils, it's literally what we call the top soils. Yes. Why are they called laterite? Why are they called laterite soils? I'm going to tell you as to why. When you are defining soil erosion, you say soil erosion is the washing away of the top layers of the soil by its agents. So Uganda is covered by that top layer, what you call the top layer, that is covered in minerals like sodium, magnesium, iron, those heavy salts that really make the land so fertile. So Uganda's soils are laterite, or what we call the top soils. Reason being, I told you from the beginning, Uganda is within the midst of the steep slopes. It is bordered by steep slopes on its borders. And whatever agent of erosion that occurs and washes away The top layers of these mountains will have to power its minerals within the midst, which midst Uganda is there, and then the equator itself contributes more because it provides the warm temperatures that enable plants to grow well. Plants don't grow so good in hotness or in coldness. They love the warmth, and we all know that. And then the equatorial zone, that the equatorial zone around the equator, and then the drainage of all Uganda supports the nature of the soils that we have to maintain, that these soils maintain their nutrients, they don't wither out their nutrients, they don't lose their nutrients, they're ever heavy in nutrients. That's the type of soil that we have in Uganda, that is laterite soil. So fertile to support plant growth, to support vegetation growth, to support animal food growth. Thus, also the wide rate of animal rearing in Uganda. Uganda's clays, all clay soil, is waterlogged because of the too much water in Uganda. So, living up the Uganda's soil, this draws me to the flora and fauna of Uganda, vegetation and animals of Uganda. Uganda mostly is in covered under grasslands and mostly savanna grasslands. Yes, Uganda is covered under savanna grasslands that run from its central region to the northern region, and the grasslands will go on declining into the savanna woodlands that make shrubs, and then you'll find like the acacia woodlands. Because of the change, the further from the equator, or from the equatorial regions. So those areas in the north, they're in savanna woodlands, but they're not totally dry areas. At least they have savanna woodlands. They're not plain. They're covered under savanna woodlands. In the central, you find that you have savanna grasslands, and mostly this elephant grass, this long nature of grass. Yes. And then Uganda is covered also in thick forests. These forests are equatorial rain forests. Yes. And these forests form a canopy on top. They are so thick and they form a canopy. Our thick forests, all our tropical equatorial forests, they are made of several species, a lot of tree species in this forest. Forests like Mavira, forests like Impanga, forests like Bwindi impenetrable in the west, Mavira in the east, Mpanga in the central. So you'll find that we have a lot of forests and the equatorial forests because of the equatorial nature, all the equatorial tropical climate we have. So we support the growth of these thick forests. And we have a lot of them, and thus the support of the flora and the fauna of Uganda, the growth of different vegetation and the habitat. These forests act as the habitat of very many animal species, like the mighty mountain gorillas. Everyone knows about Uganda and Rwanda for their gorillas, but these gorillas are within Rwanda, Congo, and Uganda. Because of the thick forests, Uganda has these thick forests. You'll have to find these gorillas everywhere because of these thick forests. Uganda's vegetation, Uganda's vegetation, I've told you it is mainly savanna, and then we have the savanna woodlands, and then we have the equatorial rain forests that give us the thick appearance of our view, but mostly green. Uganda is green everywhere. And then the vegetation cover under the relief, all under our mountains, is so different. It goes on like changing at the heights as you climb. In geography, we always have that saying, the higher you go, the cooler it becomes. Now in Uganda also, the higher you go, the different type of vegetation you'll find. The higher you go, the different type of vegetation you'll find. You'll find that within the lower steppes, you'll find the equatorial rainforest, all the thick forest, and then you'll find the savannas. They are waiting for you on another level. As you climb up, you find the bamboo forest. As you climb up, you'll find the heath, and so on. So Uganda's vegetation is ranged in levels when it comes to steep slopes in Uganda. So wonderful, isn't it? Uganda is really so wonderful. You haven't seen this somewhere elsewhere in other world. Maybe it is there in your country, but in Uganda it looks so real and so different. So visit Uganda, you have to see all of this. If you're Ugandan and you didn't know this, that maybe there's so many Ugandans who have grown up in Uganda, but they can't even see this, they can't even tell this. I'm here to let you know, if you're a student, know this, that Uganda's vegetation on mountain is laid on layers. Each layer you go, the higher you go, you find a different type of vegetation. That means different vegetation is supported by different soil nutrients, and so that is God's power, knows what he put on each level to support the growth of the other level. So talking about the animals of Uganda, Uganda has a variety of animal species, bird species, and insects. We have a variety. For example, lions that climb trees are only in Uganda. Did you know that? It's only our lion species that climb trees. The nice looking giraffes. I talked about the mountain gorillas in Uganda. We have the rhinos. We have the Ugandan kob. Do you know why it is called Ugandan kob? Because that kind of kob or that species of cobs is only found in Uganda. So that's giving us the speciality of the Ugandan kob. We have on our flag, we have a bird that is the crested crane, and this species, it is not everywhere in the world, so mostly in Uganda, and is very rare in other countries. But here in Uganda, we have a number of birds. We have a lot of species of birds, to the extent, me personally, I used not to own, okay, I had a phone, but I could not set an alarm. I had a watch, but I could not use it. Why? Because I always relied on nature. I could hear those morning birds, and I knew how in the morning birds sing. Yes, Uganda is gifted. So in the morning you could hear those birds that are singing. There is that bird that used to make funny noise in the morning, and then you'll know that it is in the morning. It will say, and then you'll know that it is in the morning. My grandmom had, every time she heard about it, she could say that the bird is saying, like open the door. Yeah, so every time it was morning, I could hear the bird and then I would wake up. So Uganda has a lot of birds, nice looking birds, beautiful, very beautiful. And then you could find these weaver birds, you know, those yellow birds that make a lot of noise. And then when you like, okay, if you don't give it your time, you could hear it as noise, but when you give it time and you just listen to those birds, you could hear very beautiful songs and very beautiful noise, a very nice noise that is being produced by those birds. So Uganda has a lot of birds. Uganda has a lot of insects. Did you know that in Uganda we have a lot of butterflies? That in other countries, butterflies, like, they look at them and then they're so happy, they're making them happy. I saw people, when they look at a butterfly, they're like, wow, they're so happy. So in Uganda we have a lot of them. They're flying everywhere. Why are they everywhere? In my reasoning, I don't know, someone will comment there. I think because of the food we grow. Uganda has a lot of food, a lot of fruits, a lot of corn, maize. Ugandans grow a lot of maize because I told you Uganda's main activity is farming because of the laterite fertile soils. So we have a lot of corn, and you'll find even if it is not a season for corn, somewhere else in the country they are growing corn. Corn, like caterpillars, we all know the life cycle of a butterfly. Caterpillars love corn so much, love fruits like jackfruits, pomegranates, and then you have to find these heavy green caterpillars on trees of pomegranates, on trees of jackfruits. You find caterpillars on corn. Every time they eat corn and they throw the corn, you'll find that there is a caterpillar, and so these caterpillars will breed into the heavy all down the number of the butterflies that we are seeing. Come to Uganda owns that mother that everyone fears, that mother insect everyone fears. That is the female anopheles mosquito. The female anopheles mosquito is in Uganda. So when you come to Uganda, remember to carry a mosquito repellent, skin repellent, and remember to own a mosquito net. If you're in Uganda, just know in Uganda we own this mother in its fullness. Even if you spread a doom everywhere, always own a mosquito net. because this species of insects or mosquitoes is mostly found in Uganda because of the nature of our country is waterlogged. Now that takes me to the people of Uganda. The people of Uganda are formed into two groups, Nilotics and then the Bantu. Mostly the Nilotics are found in the northern part of Uganda, and then the Bantu are found in the rest of the part of Uganda. And most tribes of the Bantu are mostly, the Ganda occupies the largest part of the Bantu, and then other tribes, Banyankole, Banyarwanda, Bafumbira, Bachiga, the Ganda and the Baganda, the Centralers. So these groups are in Uganda. Of recent, we have people that joined the population of Uganda, and it is also counted as the part of the people of Uganda, or the group of the people in Uganda. These are the South Asians, or the Southern Asians, like Indians, Chinese. So they are also in Uganda, and we count them as part of the group of people in Uganda. The people of Uganda are the most hospitable people in the whole of Africa. Don't worry yourself if you are coming to Uganda. Uganda has more than 32 tribes, so that means they have more than 32 local languages, but that can't scare you away. Every Ugandan and most Ugandans, they know English well, mostly the British English, but understanding also American English and speaking it. And Ugandans can listen and interpret every accent of English. Ugandans speak Kiswahili as their second official language. Most Ugandans know French. Ugandans can speak French. Ugandans can speak German. And those ones that you find maybe like the monks and nuns, they can speak Latin. So feel free when you are coming to Uganda. Uganda is rich in languages, and Ugandans can speak English well, they can speak French well, they can speak Kiswahili. So feel free when you are coming to these people. We live in harmony, we live harmoniously with each other, though we have different languages, different cultures, different staple foods, but we live together happily, and we marry each other. We intermarry from different tribes, different regions, and still connect and understand each other. That's how beautiful Uganda is. That's how beautiful the people of Uganda are. Coming to religion, talking about Uganda geographically, coming to religion, Uganda's population is a fourth, 1 out of 4 Christians, and Christianity, and the eighth, 1 out of 8 Muslims, and then the rest of other worshipping. Why am I saying that? Because some people, when you are there, you are like, I want to come to Uganda. Is it an Islamic country? Is it a Christian country? So worry not yourself. Uganda worships and respects all religions apart from pagans. If you don't believe in God, don't wear your wings in Uganda. You're like me, I don't believe in God. Uganda is a godly country. In that, even the motto of Uganda says, for God and my country. Even the anthem itself, the first stanza says, O Uganda, may God uphold thee. That means that Uganda is a godly country. If you're a pagan, don't wear your wings, don't swag, don't pull the air, don't blow your own trumpets around the streets of Uganda, because Uganda is really a God-fearing country. So Uganda respects Muslims. I told you about the 7 hills of the capital city of Uganda. You'll find that on these hills, I talked about Namirembe, how Uganda respects religions. On these hills, each and every hill in the capital city, there is a major worshipping place for all the religions. For example, Christianity has a number of religions in it. We have the Anglicans, we have the Pentecost, we have the Presbyterians, we have the Orthodox, we have the Catholics. So Christianity is in a number of religions, but still on each hill, there is a worshipping place for each, in respect for each religion. For example, Mengo Hill, there is the Kabaka's Palace, and these people that worship in the African traditional way, they are free to go and worship from Mengo. In Namirembe, there is the Anglican, or the Namirembe Cathedral for the Anglicans. In Lubaga, there is the Lubaga All Saints, or the Cathedral for Catholics. At Old Kampala, there is the Old Kampala Mosque, or the Gaddafi Mosque for Muslims. So you find that in Uganda respects all religion, and you find in those deep villages, you find small huts, small houses for African traditional worshippers. Don't say that these people are pagans. They're believing in African traditional religion that existed before the coming of the missionaries, before the coming of the Arabs that brought in the Islam, all the missionaries that brought in Christianity. These people were worshipping gods. We are worshipping their gods. And don't say that those are small gods. In the traditional African religion, they call God Lubanga, meaning the creator of all other gods. Then they have those small gods. So in Uganda is really a God-fearing country. That's all about Uganda geographically. If you need to know more about Uganda, drop your question or drop it in the comment section. I'll read it and I'll answer you. So, and drop your next topic of interest about the geography of Africa, because really we are going to talk about each and everything. Drop your next interest, the topic of interest, the topic that I read that most people are yearning for. It's what I'll go with next, but I'm here to deliver to you about the geography of Africa. Thank you so much for subscribing, for liking, and for sharing, and for commenting. Always comment, share, subscribe, and come everyone. Let us sit together, share ideas about geography, and learn more about the physical nature of our environment. Thank you.